Good morning. This is Tuesday morning. It started snowing here about 6 o'clock a.m. It's coming down pretty good as you can see. There was no snow on the ground at 6 a.m. Max Air, good morning. The Supposed to snow all the way till about 6 p.m. I think it is. So we'll just have to play it by ear. How much snow we get. They're calling for anywhere from 2 to 4 inches, but who knows? If it keeps snowing like this, I get it, but
I have Algorithm, Reynolds, Salt Correction.
yeah, my little squirrel buddies are out there begging for peanuts. I'm gonna pitch a couple out. It's snowing pretty hard, but we'll see.
No traffic server. I get auto support from Imperial to Salt over. Roger, proceed. This is starting to track you.
Little Laura, hi Paul. How's David doing, Laura? And I haven't heard anything from Justin that was on and then left quickly last evening because of kidney stones. I think he had an attack. Oh, he had his operation and now he's sleeping it off. Okay, I get it. I get it. How'd the operation go? Good? That camera is actually operating, but that's just all the snow. You can just maybe barely make out across the river, but not much. I just switched to just a picture. Okay, Laura, you keep an eye on him. You let me know. He's at the hospital still? Or did you bring him home? Just a minute, you goofball. He is bugging the hell out of me. So David had his operation, everybody, and he's sleeping it off right now, resting. Recovery drone. He just wanted a break from Laura. That's funny. I'll be right back. Hang tight. Right back. What do you want, Mia? Okay. Wait, so far. Potty, hurry up. Come on, me. Come on, Mia. Mia. Come. Come on, me. Hurry up, I'll wake you up. Come here. Wake you up. Yeah, I have to let her out and then I gotta wipe her off real fast. She gets wet and the snow is coming down pretty good. Let me see if I can show you what it's doing outside. So I can get my cameras up over here. Here's what it's doing right now. And when we started this process, there was nothing there. See, there you can see that camera isn't that's an old shot from before. Give me a live stream. Come on. Doesn't want to seem to come up. And that is a shot from quite a while ago, so. That all of that snow was gone. When we started here about 6 a.m. There's what it looked like this morning. There's what it looks like now. I threw some peanuts out here in the drive. So they're out there gathering up peanuts. Hey, Jonathan, how you doing? Yep, David is recovering from his surgery he had earlier today. Laura's with him. Dre, how's it going with you? Good, I hope. Yeah, it's supposed to keep snowing like this pretty much all day long. So we'll see how it adds up. But I've gotten probably an inch so far, and it's still coming down pretty heavy. Oh, just got back from the gym. All right. Doing that workout. Keep you young. I'm past that. I can't it's just like a labor for me to walk too far. It's like when I go up clean up after me out in the backyard. I come back in and I'm pretty much done. Done, done, done. Here's the camera from down on the river. That's looking south. It's on auto pan. Gonna pan back further south and then over the river. And then everything is just gonna fade because of the snow. Must be a little bit of wind. You see how it's bobbling a little? Good morning. That's all right. Jonathan, we all have our moments, that's for sure. Sometimes we hit our boiling point, and I understand. Because that was out of character for you, Jonathan, and I realized that right from the get-go. Daryl, how you doing, Daryl? Good morning. Yeah, it's snowing pretty good clip here. All my little peanut buddies are out there looking for their peanuts for the day. Just like us, even if the weather's bad, we still get hungry. Let me throw a couple more out and just see if they're. Yeah, I threw them out some peanuts. I don't know if there's a way to keep that up or not. Up in the corner, I guess. Nope. Let me do this. So we'll see what happens here. Oh, here we go. Stop share, okay. I thought maybe I could keep that going, but I can't. Good morning, Uncle Bill. How you doing? Good, 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 good. So, I'm gonna try something here. That's not gonna work. Don't think it will. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this other computer up. Maybe I can get a window where I can just show you different things on it. So we'll just see if we get an echo. I want to turn that off. Turn that one off. Okay. So it should, no, it's not. I muted it. Okay, well, that little experiment didn't work. Uncle Bill, good morning. Yes, Max Air. Cory Mano, good morning. Good morning. I don't know how long I'm going to stay on here. Um, it's snowing like heck. I don't have anybody with me on the channel, on the panel. Panel channel. If anybody wants to join, please do so. Got my little squirrel buddies out here. Hang on, I'm going to throw them some more peanuts. Okay, so yeah, Corey, how you doing? Good morning, good morning. Yeah, I threw out some more peanuts for him, but the sad part is I throw them out and it's the snow. They sink in the snow from the impact. I got to figure out maybe a better way to get them peanuts. Maybe get something on a string or I don't know. Anyway, but they're getting some of them. They're sitting out there eating them. So I've thrown all these peanuts out here and some more down the ramp. You might see just a couple of little bullet holes. And there's a squirrel right there. Two squirrels gathering peanuts. And there's peanuts here. Let's see, I think I got some peanuts over here, yeah. Corey is joining. All right, Corey.
Hey, good morning, Paul. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good, good.
You know, it started at 6 o'clock this morning, and that's it. There was no snow on the ground. Now it's like white.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we had quite the weather. We had past couple of weeks. We had a bunch of snow, then it melted, rain, and then on top of the snow, it got all hard, froze again, and then it warmed up again. And now it's getting colder again. So you have all that like hard, crunchy snow everywhere,
Yep.
and a layer of ice on top of the snow.
Yeah,
We had
exactly.
just not fun because when you're walking and stuff, it's quite slippery. But the kids like it, that's for sure.
Well, I think back, Corey, when I was a kid, I used to like winter, sledding, snowmobiling, skiing, and all kinds, slipping and sliding and everything else.
Mhm.
But as you get older, especially now that I'm over 70 years old, I could care less about winter.
Yeah, that's why a lot of Canadians they go down to Florida for the
Yep.
winter time. They don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, they could just load up and go down south for the winter.
And then as soon as the snow retreats back, they come back up. Yeah, that was interesting. On Sunday, I went flying little tiny drones for
Oh,
racing.
did you?
We went at a local brewery, so we had full access to the back of the brewery. So we set up a nice little course. We had about 9 or 10 pilots and a bunch of spectators, and it was pretty fun.
So you guys were racing?
Yeah, we were racing.
Any mishaps?
Almost, almost. So when they had these big vats of like for the
Yeah.
breweries,
Yeah.
and below it they have buckets of water. I guess
Right.
that's where they release some of their venting, and then it just goes in the water and it bubbles.
Right.
One person almost fell in there, one of their drones. There's
Wow.
buckets all over, and so I was like, it's bound to happen, right?
Sure.
Other
Sure.
than that, no, nothing really else happened. Yeah, no,
So it sounds like it was a fun time, though.
yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Here comes Uncle Bill. Hey, Bill, how you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Another day in paradise. I don't know if you guys heard, but David Birdman, he had surgery this morning.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
heard he told me he was going to go in for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Justin, yesterday evening, he was on, and all of a sudden he left and he put a message in that says kidney stones. That's all he put on was, I don't know where he was going.
Who said that?
Justin
Justin said kidney stones?
Digley, yeah.
Well, he's a young
So,
man. The kidney stones won't be. He should be all right.
no, but it's painful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and I haven't heard we haven't heard from him this morning, so I don't know what he's doing.
Have you ever had stones?
No, I thank God, no.
Yeah, me either.
Me neither.
I've heard that. Some
I've
people
heard
in my
it's-
family
yeah.
have. Yeah.
I know a coworker who has it like regularly, which is really must be annoying.
Yeah. I don't know. They ought to figure out why people get them, why people don't. I think they have a pretty good idea. Certain seasonings could end up getting.
Well,
give you-
you would think in with the technology we have and everything, that they would have just a shot that would dissolve kidney stones and you wouldn't get them, you know? Just have it in your bloodstream.
Yeah, I guess.
Because
I mean, I
they're,
read somewhere years ago it had something to do with black pepper. For example,
Yeah.
people that use a lot of black pepper have a
black
tendency.
pepper was a trigger. Yep, I heard that.
Yeah, because whether you know it or not, we don't digest black pepper, we pass it. So it ends up in your, it can end up calcifying and causing kidney
Right.
stone. Yeah. That's why I prefer red pepper, which is actually digestible and tastes better.
Corey had, I don't know if you heard him, but Corey had an interesting flight. A bunch of them. How many did you say? 11 or 12 of you?
We were about 9 or 10
10
flying
people
at a
flying,
local
flying in the
brewery.
back of a brewery,
Cool.
racing the mini drones
So we're going every
Cool.
2 weeks to that. Yeah.
every 2 weeks. All right. Well, that'd give you something to do in the wintertime, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we were flying at a school cafeteria.
Okay.
But it required because it was at a school, they needed insurance. So we had to get a MAC, right? Or same thing as the MA, but the Canadian version for the insurance. And not a lot of people here are fond of having the MAC or having to pay for that, right? So we now found this new venue where we don't require it. It's all free. So we got a lot more people coming.
Sure.
Even
Now,
though
when
it's a
you
little
have, when
bit,
you
yeah.
had about 8 or 9 pilots, their family come with them too, and
Some of them did, yeah. So I bring one of my daughters with me.
okay.
And then another guy who flies, he brought his 2 kids. And then there's a bunch of other people brought their friends and whatnot. So we must have been closer to like 18 people total there,
Oh, cool.
and we only had about 9 or 10 pilots. And then we have the back part of the whole
The whole
brewery to
brewery.
ourselves, and they have the front where I have, they have the tables for all the people and whatnot. So
Oh, good.
it's good for them because they get business from us, right? So we, buy beer or food or whatnot. So we support them, right? So
Sure, sure. Well, what you need to do is have somebody set up a camera and you can live stream them there and advertise for them, you know?
yeah, yeah. The coordinator or the person who runs all the races and stuff, he does have it, but it's on the local, so he has it all on his OBS and he has his overlays and whatnot, but he doesn't live stream it.
Yeah,
The next-
if he were to live stream it, it would really boost your ratings, you know? And it would be a bonus for anybody you might entice in the future for a business to allow you to come and race in their business.
Yeah, we're so small. It's really not really. It's just like a drop in the bucket. They don't really bring a lot of people. But anyways, yeah, it's a nice idea.
Enough drops in the bucket will fill up.
That's right.
Takes a lot of drops.
Yeah.
So here's my project for today. I'm gonna finish installing the backup camera on my truck. Truck came without one. Did a lot of research. Did something I'm outside of my comfort zone is messing around with the wiring harness in the vehicle. And I've done pretty much a lot of things repairing vehicles, and I tried to stay away from that if at all possible. I pay somebody else to do it.
So you're using the wiring harness that's in the vehicle, not installing secondary harness.
Well, what I did here is look 50-50. 50-50. Especially now, because cars have become so much more complicated, and the harnesses along with them have become so much more, so much wiring down there. But the camera was available the year my 16.
Okay.
Truck came up, but it wasn't a law until I think 18 or 19. 18, I think. But anyway, there's a guy put out a YouTube channel on how, and he installed it. Lickety split, bingity bingity bing. I was like, okay, great. You just buy the new handle because the handle is where the camera is. It's actually the door handle on the truck, and I like it up there instead of those aftermarket ones that are down there by your license plate. First of all, you get a better field of view, but if you're trailering something, you want it up higher so you can see what's going on. Because the trailer just totally blocked license plate one. And plus I want to do it OEM. I want it to come in through the system because these aftermarket ones, your dynamic parking lines don't work. It's just a camera.
Okay.
And it's ironic because I don't even like those dynamic lines. They annoy me. But I want it there anyway, you know, just because damn it, I'm spending the money, I'm going through the effort. I want it there. You can always turn them off, you know.
Yeah,
So anyway, this guy put it in, but here's the thing. On his particular 17, all the wiring was there, just no camera. So when he put the new harness in the you had to buy your harness for the gate itself, which splits off. One goes to the power door lock, you know, gate lock, and the other goes to the camera. The other 5 wires, 2 to the gate lock, 5 to the camera. Then the guys online are like, it's not working. And then what they realized was they only had 2 wires going to the plug that plugs into that harness. So all they had was the power to the gate, no wires from camera. So some guy came up with the ultimate guide on where to hook up the wiring. So you would make an extra harness all the way from the back to the front. And above the wheel well on the driver's side, there's 2 giant plugs with about 1,000 wires sticking out of them. That's exaggeration, probably about 60, 70 wires sticking out of them. And between the 2 of them. And here's the spots. You need 13, 12, 11, 7, and then 33 on the whatever, and 33 on the other on the secondary plug. It's like, okay, and this is what you do, and you got to crimp little tiny pins, you know, on the. So I bought myself a little crimper, a nice one, and bought the pins, got them. You know, I followed, you know, so I was going to do all that. I'm like, well, just like some of the people in the chat complained, there were already wires connected to those spots. It's like, well, what is mine wired different than yours? I mean, it's the same 15, 16, 17, actually up to 20 are pretty much the same truck. And especially 15, 16, 17, they are the same truck. You know, Walgreens is trying to call me to tell me my medication's ready.
ah.
I don't know why they think I need it. I know this is a boring story, but this is what I'm up to. So just like those guys online, there's already wires pinned in those spots. They're like, so what should we do? Should we take them out? Should we? Well, taking them out would be a severe bitch, especially with a harness with that many wires in it already. So I wouldn't do that. I would just splice into them, you know, cut them and splice into them. But now I'm scared. What am I splicing? What's actually plugged in those spots? Are these guys wrong? You know?
Right.
And so I spent the first day trying to figure out where they went, which could be fun. However, I don't know why this guy didn't notice this when he made the video, but God bless him for the effort that he put in, because he actually linked to how to take the plugs apart and how to put pins in and how to wiring them, where the leads should go. So he went through a lot of effort for basically nothing. You know, I mean, he's just doing it just to do it, because he didn't have to do any of that because he had 7 wires in his harness ready. But nobody answered these guys who were saying, hey, how come I've already got wires up in the front? I was like, okay. Got my investigator's hat on, went back there. I got my electrical tester, and I set it to ohms. I bought a box that had 6 different colored wires and 25 feet long to make it from the back to the front. I got a lot of speaker wire left over now, by the way. Because but I basically set up a giant, you know, long continuity tester. I didn't crimp on, but I taped on I attached a pin to the end of the wire, took the big harness apart, plugged it into the 13, which is black. And in the back, first thing I did was I split that loom open to see if they just cut it off. Because it looked like they cut wires off the harness at the gate. So did they just do a delete and cut it? It was empty. It was only the 2 wires. But here's a plug on the inside of the frame, maybe 6 inches away, if that, just hanging there with no wires in it. Just to keep dirt out, you know, just plugged into it. I wonder if that's it. There's actually a black wire. And it's the only black one. I was looking at all the different, because there's a lot of plugs back there. Look, the only black wire I could find. So I said, okay. So I set up my little continuity tester, took this plug out. There's the pins. Beep. Found where it's like 6 inches away from the harness is right there. So all they did was not install a little shorty harness.
Little jumper harness, yeah.
Yeah. So I followed
Okay.
it. And all 5 wires were beep, beep, beep right in a row in the correct order on that little plug. So that's when I built this. This side of it's going to be permanent because it's going to go attached to the actual, the truck harness itself. And this would plug into that spot. And that's my project today, is to connect this end of it. And it's not that it's hard, it's annoying. You got to take the black cover off. Then you got to take the weather guard out of the middle. You got to slide them back down the wires. You got to pull on this so it pops forward. I mean, I went nuts and I pulled it completely out, but you got to pull it forward, and then you got to crimp the pins on in the correct order and put them through the black and put them through the wiring, and then kind of, wiggle them in so they click, and then put it all back together. And I got to do that from underneath the truck. That's what makes that part annoying. I did this at my desk. But that's my project today. Then once it's all wired up, of course, I'll put the split loom on it, tape it up. I should be good to go. Then I just got to program the truck to tell it has a camera, which I can do that too, because I don't know if I brought this up before, but there's a program called Forescan, which is kind of open source. They give it to you for a couple of months for free, but it's only like $16 a year or $12 a year, something like that for the license. And it is it looks like it's a complete Ford Mercury Lincoln. It turns your laptop into a computer, you plug it into the OBD2 and you get everything.
Diagnostic tool.
Without spending
Programmer.
$1,000 or $500 or whatever.
So your
And then-
your truck doesn't already have a monitor in it, or no?
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. No, I have a screen, but no, I'm talking about a like an Autel. Autel's like one of the best. An Autel,
Okay.
What the mechanics use when they plug into your truck, your vehicle, and they
Yeah.
get all the readout. And
To program it and stuff.
how your
whatnot, yeah.
fuel trim is doing, how your transmissions,
Right.
and it's more than just I got one of those little $60 deals where I
Little
plug in
$60
the-
scanner you
read
plug
the
in.
code and, it's not just a code reader. It gives you all kinds of interesting information, like what percentage, like say you're running a little lean and your fuel rails your truck is automatically adding fuel to your bank, to each individual. It'll tell you what the percentage is. So you can tell how bad it is. Zero's perfect. You get 4%. And as the truck gets older, that happens. Maybe you'll run a little injector cleaner through, and you watch the numbers change, which is ironic because I did that. My fuel mileage went down because it was running a little lean, so I was actually getting a little better gas mileage.
So that
But,
tool will tell you have now a camera in the truck, essentially, right?
Yeah, body
I guess
control, all the modules in the truck, because there's like 30 something modules. And when you figure it out, because there's modules and sub modules, but the major modules like the BCM body control module, the powertrain control, the power control module, and you go in there and you have to drill down through the menu, and you find the correct line, which fortunately people online they do this stuff, and they'll actually post spreadsheets. What is what's because it's not because it's coming up on the screen as letters, like
Or hex or something like that, or
LNGT B1. That's long-term bank one, for example, for fuel usage or whatever. So it tells you exactly where to go, and then I have to change the second number on the one line and the sixth number on the other. There's no way you would ever know that. You know what I mean? But these guys, they spend their time doing this and giving it away. So I have to make 2 changes. One in the PCM, one in the BCM. One enables the camera, and the other one enables the lines. And because that has a position sensor in the steering column that tells the camera where you're at. And so you change those lines, you save it, and it should come to light. So right now I'm procrastinating because after all this work, if it doesn't work, I'm
Yeah, seems like you're essentially, yeah, upgrading your truck like as the dealers would do it, right?
yeah, no, I want to do OEM because I
Essentially.
can
Oh
buy
yeah,
you can
yeah.
buy aftermarket, you know.
Yeah, but you'll have your own
Um,
screen, but it won't be tied into your whole system. You won't get your steering thing. You won't, yeah, all that stuff. If you don't get it.
also, but you can spend almost as much money for an aftermarket one that does tie into your dashboard screen,
Huh.
with an adapter. So it's not exactly the same thing. There's actually an adapter that they sell with it. It ends up being almost $400, $300 and something dollars for me to run their wire up and over my fuel tank and then up through a plug in my floor under the carpet or around the mat, and then up behind my dashboard, all that. Yeah, I I could do that, and then you won't have the lines. By the way, with those, you don't get the dynamic lines. They'll have fixed lines that come with the camera, but that's it. And you could do that, and it's almost as much money. I'd say almost. Actually, I'm spending less money because I did not buy the OEM camera. Just that little tiny OEM camera is $270.
Wow.
Holy cow.
At the time the guy wrote this, like 3 years ago, it was 129. That's how much of a difference it is between now and then. So what I did was I bought an aftermarket camera, but it's Master Tailgaters, and they claim to be an OEM replacement. So because a lot of those cheap ones, they won't work with the dynamics. They don't have, apparently there's a chip inside there, and
It won't talk to the computer or something like that properly. Yeah.
right, it just doesn't understand that the truck is telling it, hey, it just doesn't do it. They claim this will. So it wasn't a cheap one, it was $140, because the cheap ones are 50, 60, 70, $80, so I got a good one, which was around the price of what the OEM camera was when the guy wrote the video. So we'll see how it works out. If it doesn't work, I'll return it. I'll see if they take it. Maybe it'll be restocked for you, and then I will spend the extra money for the OEM. But this supposedly quality one, they claim that we have lenses from Japan and blah blah blah, and it chipped up it. So we'll see. We'll see. But but aside from that, I went OEM. I got an OEM harness, an OEM handle. That's another problem with these aftermarket ones, is they do these cheaper knockoff handles, gate handles, and they break. So I actually went on a OEM Ford site and ordered an actual Ford OEM, and a much heavier.
So
Much
did you go back to the YouTube and updated all those questions that people had regarding they already have harnesses in there to tell them what you
I'm
found?
going to, once I'm successful.
It seems like 90% of the work's already done because of that. The OEM already ran it, I guess, right? And just didn't connect it because it's not an option, I guess, on your truck, right?
Right. If they look, they'll see that there's a plug hanging on the inside of the frame, very close to and I watched his video, and when he's under the truck, the guy that already had the wiring, and you could see it. You could see that there was a little shorty. I mean, you could barely, just like that, I paused the video. So there it is. There's something that I didn't have.
It was tucked away. Yeah. It was tucked away in the frame, I guess.
Well, it's pretty obvious, but he was like right there. But if you follow it, obviously if you follow it, it's going to go up and over and go right to that plug. And it's the additional, and like I said, I took the time to make sure that they were in the exact order that I needed them to be. So I set up the color coding that way. And this company, I like this company. I have red green color blindness, and they actually chose a green I could see. There's the most common color blindness in males is red green, and it's certain shades of red and green.
Yeah,
show up either looking the same or looking brown. And but not every shade. Obviously, I couldn't even drive. I'd have to, some shades are clearly red. It's obviously red. And some shades are clearly green, obviously green. And to me, And so I'm actually able to tell the difference.
Yeah, we had
And I've done a lot of
coworker,
wiring where
yeah.
I had to call my wife out from inside the house, to tell me what color the wires were that would work.
Yeah, we had a coworker that's colorblind too, and we're working on a bunch of stuff in the back of servers and whatnot, and we told him to unplug the one that has the green light. He unplugged the one that has the red because you can't tell the difference, and he brought down the system. I'm like, we did it as a joke, not thinking that he knows, because it's two separate lights where they should be, but he unplugged the wrong one. It's like, oh great.
I have little chargers and like that, the only way I can tell whether it's red or green is one's brighter.
Ah.
You can, that's how you learn to live with your disability.
We were sort of poking fun at him, not thinking that he would actually unplug the wrong one. He's like, uh-oh, production system going, well, we have redundancy, so it didn't actually go down, but it brought down one of the paths during the day.
The only other problem I ran into is my truck is, God, I hate these. They did the liner, they did a spray and liner. And they went a little nuts on the gate. I mean, it looks like it's so thick. It's like the corrosion coating. You know what I mean? It's
Oh.
like it's like rust coating. It's really thick, and they buried the nut, the screws to take the panel off, so I can get inside the tailgate to change the handle out and the harness out. So I was digging them out the other day, the little screwdriver. I'm able to do it. Fortunately, the Fords are all aluminum too, so I'm not all around this big long rectangular panel, so I can get in there. The coating is like really thick. I mean, it looks. I hate spray liners, so they wear out. They look like hell. I don't know why people just don't put plastic liners. But anyway, and especially with aluminum, it's not like it's gonna rust, But I took one of those little precision screwdrivers and I went all the way around to kind of break the seal around the panel. And I'm taking out the screws, but there's just one other annoyance. I mean, the guy in the video had a spray in liner and his screws were exposed, so I think he cleaned them. That's what he did. He just didn't add that to the video.
Before, yeah.
But that's my project today. It shouldn't take long. Depends how long I sit here and procrastinate.
Shouldn't take too long.
What I'll
yeah.
usually do is I'll sit here until it looks like it's about to start to rain, and then I'll go out there.
It's probably going to be
Like
snowing
I
here lately. If it's going down, snowing there at Paul's, it's probably going to reach here late this afternoon or evening. Usually the storms come up here.
Well, you never know in Florida. They just come whenever they feel like it, And I was having a nice morning. I'm thinking, okay, slept in a little bit. It's 11 o'clock. I've slept in a lot actually. Okay, let's go. So I looked up and said, oh man, it's gonna rain. I know it's gonna rain at the worst time. And it did. Just before I was gonna run the continuity test. So then I went on Laura's channel, and of course, once I start talking, this happens.
Yeah.
And
On and on and on.
on and on and on. I know. And so I went back outside after the rain had stopped. The driveway drew, dried off for the most part, and I was only able to finish figuring out, because it started to get dark. That's okay. I think it's going to work. I'm confident.
At least the wiring will work for sure. Trace that.
Yeah, I tell you, and I could live without a backup camera. Went most of my life. I'm 62. I went without a backup camera, but with a pickup truck, it's very convenient having a backup camera.
Oh yeah, especially when you're lining up like a trailer or something you want to see.
Oh,
It's a lot
yeah.
easier. Instead of having to get out or someone. Yeah.
100%, absolutely. I mean, there's a trick that's annoying. You take your tailgate off, so you look back there and you can see. That's just too much. That's too much.
But you have to get out and take it out, right? And go around and then you might as well.
Well, and if you have somebody there helping you line it up, that's a totally different story. But if you're by yourself, yes, having the cameras, it's very helpful. Especially if the field of view is good enough, you can see right down. You can just get that ball right underneath that hitch. Fortunately, I have nothing heavy enough that I can't yank on it pull it over a little.
Yeah, same here. The biggest thing would be like a tin boat or jet ski. You can move it around pretty easy as long as you're on a flat ground.
Right, as long as you're
Yeah.
close, you know, you don't have to kill
Yeah.
yourself. I mean, my boat over there, I mean, it's heavy enough. Not like I'd want to pull it up the driveway with my bare
Mhm.
hands, but you know, as long as you get it in the vicinity. Although right now it's been sitting there so long with our sandy loam, the tires are sunk into the ground a little bit.
Good
So,
luck moving
I'd
in.
like to use the truck to pull it up out of that, you know, versus me. I actually have a little hitch on the back that I can hook up on the back of my rider mower. And that would probably have enough oomph to just move it, you know, move it around. Is that Lance Cadena?
Looks like it.
Eh,
Yes, yes, Bill. Hey, good morning, bud. How are you doing?
good morning.
Got finished flying a early morning flight. I'm checking out the footage. I did a hyperlapse.
Having trouble hearing.
Maybe, if my webcam isn't pointed toward me, you probably can't hear me well. Can you hear me better?
I can hear you a bit better, yeah, but you're still on the lower side though.
Yeah. On the lower side. I'm using my phone, so it makes it worse.
Yeah, let me see here.
Get my speaker make it better. Oh,
Yeah, people were saying it was bad yesterday as well, and so I think it's my webcam. It's not a. Just flew the Mavic 3 this morning. Just did a hyperlapse in downtown Tacoma, so I'm liking that. Oh no, that's the wrong one. So yeah, I'm just kind of taking a gander at what I shot this morning. How are you guys? What are you up to, Corey?
Oh, not much. Just came on here. Yeah, saw Paul was by himself and figured I'd jump in. I don't know where Justin was. He was went off. I guess something with kidney stones possibly, or
Yeah, he was.
You guys are
yesterday.
He wasn't feeling well yesterday. It sounded like.
What's that, Bill? You're said-
I said, you guys are loud now. Hey, there you go.
Oh, you're on the speaker. There you go.
I put a speaker on that. I could hear you. I don't want to
Now
miss a word.
Now we can't hear you very well.
Oh, yeah. I'll turn it down. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, this is 11th Avenue. 11th Avenue in Tacoma. Someone's doubled up there. Paul or Bill, I think you need to mute one of your devices. So this is the 11th Avenue, and this is the 11th Avenue Bridge. And I fly from right here often to get the bridge, and I do a day to night usually. I'll do a waypoint across the waterway. This is the Thea Foss waterway here in Tacoma, where not a lot of ships come in this one. A lot of boats do. More ships come into the other waterways that are further out. But I stopped here on the way in this morning and took it straight up and thought I would see what I could get.
What are you flying that with?
This is a Mavic 3, Paul.
Okay.
My Mavic 3, which of all my drones is my favorite. I love the Avata, but I love the Avata for a different reason, you know.
Well, did you have to tweak the video to get that good color? Or?
Nope, this is right out of the camera.
Wow.
I shot it in pro mode. I don't know why they call it pro mode. I can't stand that. It's manual mode. But I shot it in manual mode, and I just shot it at 1/5 of a second, ISO 750, which isn't bad. I mean, you look at that; it's pretty darn clear. And then the shutter speed was 1/5 of a second, and the ISO was 2.8. It did a pretty good job. I moved the drone and the camera just a little bit over the course of the, I think it was a 19-second hyperlapse. But that was kind of fun.
Turned out nice and clear. I have never done a hyperlapse.
Oh, you need to do one of your ships, Paul. That'd be cool. You'd have to be a little further back though, because if you were real close, it'd zip on by you. But
Right.
you might want to try it with your new Mavic Mini.
Yeah.
Mini. Is
Mini
it a Mini 3 or Mini 3 Pro?
Mini 3 Pro, I think it is.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love that.
Paul Murray, killer of Air 2S's.
That's a kind of moniker you don't want hung around your neck very often, you know?
Yeah, no. Hey, it went out doing good work.
Gone but not forgotten, you know? Its sad part is I did not have the record mode on my controller, my smart controller, so I didn't get any of the video that I'd shot. Where before, when I lost that one underneath the Blue Water Bridges, I got at least some of the audio. Because the sad part is I flew it for a long distance, and I got 9 minutes of video before it. I decided, like stupid, to go over there and try and catch something else, and that's when it happened.
Just be interesting to see the video of losing it going on an ice floe.
Right.
I mean, people, we've seen volcanoes, not ice flows.
Yeah, and the other thing that's always be in the back of my mind, I wonder what happened to it, where it went, you know, because the ice. By the time I went down the next morning, the ice was gone. It had flowed down. It had unbroken itself from underneath the bridge.
Funny, there'll be an Eskimo one day.
Yeah.
What's this?
Well, it's got my FAA numbers on it, so if anybody recovers it, maybe they'll check it out.
That would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because the SD card would be good, but all of my strobes that I had on it and everything, they all died. You know, they're gone. It was a almost a brand new battery in it, and that's gone.
Who sent you that drone?
Russell
Pretty generous. Huh?
Russell Glarum. Russell. Yeah,
Very
very
generous.
nice of him. He said it's brand new, still in the box. So I don't know.
He just buys these things and doesn't
Yeah.
use them. And
I think Russell flies commercially, so
Right off for his business, maybe.
might have been a backup drone, and then he moved on to something else or something. I don't know, but
all right, back up drone, and he bought the next greatest thing. And
yep, moved on to the next. You know, the only drones I wish I still had was I wish I'd hung on to one of my thermal drones. Because I've had 3 different versions of thermal drones.
Huh.
So the first
Yeah, that
thermal
would be-
drone, the first thermal drone I had was the Inspire One with a thermal camera underneath, you know, hung on there. Then I had not the Avata. Well, I bought the DJI. I think it was the Mavic Pro that had the thermal imaging camera on it. Yeah, had the French drone, the little guy that had dual camera, thermal and regular. But what I didn't like is being the pilot, I have to feel comfortable with the controller. And since I am used to the DJI, even with my Inspire, I had a great big tablet hanging on the front of that controller, but I was used to the controller, the feel of the controller. So, you know, it just didn't. A lot of the drones, the controllers don't feel that good. And they all fly a little different, you know. Corey, I'm sure you've run into that. Everyone, you got to get the feel for each individual drone you fly.
Yeah, so even at like even if I build the same drone, like from when I'm racing, right, I want to be consistently the same. And from one drone to another, they fly slightly different. So you have to adjust.
Yeah.
I assume it's the same even with like the Mavics, right? They
Yep.
between like the Mini 2 and the Mini 3, they fly different, right? Well, I guess they're all the same, but
Well,
one might
they
go
have
faster or one might be
yeah.
able to do this or that, right?
Exactly, because I had the Mini 2, and I had the Mini, and then I had, I pretty much tried them all. But the reason I sold my Mini 2, or was it the Mini 3, was it didn't seem to have the steam. And when I'm flying down underneath the bridges, there's quite a breeze going underneath that bridge at sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like I couldn't get past the ship to get around in front of it. I had to kind of go around the back and around this
Yeah, you need a bigger drone. Like, yeah, that's not the sub 250s because you need
Yeah,
more power for the wind.
right.
The Mini 3 is going to struggle even more, Paul.
It's got more power.
No,
Less?
it's going to struggle even more. It's
Struggle.
lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because it's so darn light.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
trying
like
to
I
pack
say,
so much
I'm trying
technology in.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to save up enough money to buy a new Air 2S, simply because I got the case, I got the extra batteries, I got the controller, I got all the stuff to make it fly. But it was still nice of Russell to send this to me to at least get me back in the air,
I mean, have you looked in the used market at all?
Yeah, I found one that I kind of am eyeballing. I can get it delivered for $530. Brand new, not a refurb.
Really?
Yeah, because see, it doesn't come with a battery. It doesn't come with all the other ancillary things that I already have, So I may just, when I get a little few bucks, I'm living on Social Security. When I get a few bucks ahead, maybe I'll order that.
Well, you're spending money yourself.
Yeah. I have to be careful of my spending. That's right.
Unlike my dad, uses his Social Security check as he just puts it in the account, he lets it build up, and then he buys another car.
Ah,
Because he has his pensions still coming in.
yeah, I don't have any other pension other than my Social Security.
Yeah, no, he's been lucky because a lot of those pensions dried up. A lot of those Teamster pensions ran out of money. But and then his looked like it was going to, and then government allowed them to take a loan when the economy was bad. Now that the interest rates are better, it actually helps them. So anyway, so he's been lucky. So far, there's still a check coming every month. And actually, what they did was they cut it huge. And when they got their money, they paid him back for all the money he missed for like a year and a half when they dried up, and he got this nice giant check
So of course he had to buy another car. Now he's back to have money. So I bought a used F-150, so he had to buy a new one.
Well, that might makes him happy, right?
That's his joy. Yeah, is being able to drive whatever he wants to for the most part. Yeah. Spending that inheritance. It makes, like you said, it makes him happy. He deserves it. He worked hard all his life. Not like he's wasting on gambling and women. Although I can understand that.
In come March, April, I'll be 1/3 owners of my parents' cottage. Me and my brother are buying it from them, so we'll have the cottage, just keep it in the family.
Really?
Yeah, it's a good spot, but the only problem is it's at a floodplain sort of area, so it's prone to flooding. So you can't build there anymore, and there's not a lot of places around here where you can build on the water or close to the river.
So now what
Yeah.
could you, yeah, I know it'd be expensive. Could you put something on stilts there?
We could raise it, yeah, that might be in the future if it keeps flooding, but we're the ones that are the highest point in the place. And even if it does flood, it only flooded, well, it has to go up a lot, which did in 2019. It made it inside, but the cottage is not insulated. It's all like old wood. It was built in like the 40s, 50s, so it's all nice solid wood. So if it does get flooded, we have a method of cleaning it up and everything, drying it all up. So is it worth raising it? It's going to be a lot because it's a 2-story, plus it has 2 additions on it, so it's going to be a lot to raise it. We can, but right now I think we're just going to leave it as is. If it floods, it floods. We just clean it up. There's not really much damage. My dad fixed all the wiring in it, so it's all flood proof now for all the wiring that was in there because it had to get that all released or fixed. The electrical box, they put it like, I don't know, like 20 feet in the air now. Before it used to be in the ground, like it used to be like pretty close to the ground.
Ground level, yeah.
Yeah. But for the most part, I don't think we're gonna raise it. We don't. It's gonna be very expensive to raise it. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, what you'd probably do is have to get a contractor. They'd have to put I-beams underneath the whole thing, and then they'd have to slowly jack it straight up,
Yeah, and then put
and then they'd have to put supports underneath.
Yeah, we need like a sort of like a structural engineer also to make
Yep.
sure that it's correct.
Where do you
Right? And
live,
how
Corey? Where's the cottage?
it's in Ontario, Canada. Yeah. It's outside of Ottawa, but maybe an hour and 10 minutes outside of Ottawa in the country. But it's a nice spot. It's on the river. It's right on the beach. Normally beach time, or sorry, summertime, we would have maybe like 200 feet of beach, 500, depending on the water level. And then it's like 2.5 kilometers across. So it's a nice big open spot. And at least 500 feet in the water, you're not even over your head because the deep end is way out there. So it's nice for the kids who don't have to worry about, them swimming out. They can play in the water, right? And they're pretty safe as long as they don't go way out to the deep end, right? So we normally put our boats out, and it's like, you kids, you can't pass that spot, right? Because they're only 9 and 7, right?
Have you observed any sharks in that water?
Oh yeah, there's tons of sharks. We're on a river.
I'm
No,
not,
there's
I'm
no
not big.
sharks.
I'm not big on swimming in any place that's got sharks.
We're not in the ocean. You don't have sharks. The biggest thing we may have is some turtles and some fish or whatnot.
Okay.
Some
Yeah.
catfish with attitude.
Yeah. What are you
Actually,
doing?
if you do step on a catfish, they have those damn freaking stingers on them. Like, you don't want to freaking mess with them. Like, they'll get you good. But you don't really.
He poked me in the foot. He's dinner tonight.
I don't want to eat what's around my parents' place because they have a nuclear power plant up maybe about 60 kilometers up, and the water is not the best there. So
So-
a lot of
It's clean.
So they're
It's
using,
not clean.
they're using the water to cool the power plant, right?
yeah. I assume
when
that
I I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying there are also a lot of like raw sewage and stuff in the river and stuff, so it's not really.
I'd worry more about the raw soup than the power plant. What the power plant tends to do is raise the temperature of the water, and you end up with, it ends up being really green because it encourages growth of
Algae.
the,
There's so much natural flow that just goes out right into the ocean. Anyways, there's so much water, so it won't bring up temperature. But the thing is during the summer when it gets really warm, that's when like the like bacteria and stuff come up, and you don't want to eat any of the fish. You want to eat, if you were going to eat any of the fish, which we don't really do from the river, is early in the season before all the worms and stuff get them.
added protein.
Yeah.
That's a shame. Fishing would be one of the things I'd enjoy doing at that, especially just catch and release.
Yeah. I'm not saying people like you can eat it, just don't. I don't know. I just heard a bunch of stories and stuff. I'm like, well, okay, it's probably fine for the most part, just not late in the season. Yeah. I've
Eat
eaten
the
them.
right fish, man.
Yeah.
Into a superhero.
Might be some
I could-
three-eyed fishes floating around. You might see them around the nuclear power plant.
Yeah, stay away from the three-headed fish.
Yeah.
That fish must have been imbued with beta radiation. Corey man. I'm gonna go outside. Oh. You're coming with me.
Ah. Well, Bill, I think we're gonna call it. We've been on for an hour and a half. And thank you, Corey and Bill and Lance for showing up and at least taking up some of the space. And the stories that you and Corey shared was interesting. Take care, everybody. We'll see all of you later today.